Blessings and welcome forward to Reasonings right here at the Tree of Life. I'm your host, the Great Owl, in the presence of my co-host, Brother Ramon Singh, and the Mystic Kush. Yes, perfect love. Perfect love. Yes. So we are here at Tree of Life, and the last time when we did a video about Tree of Life was many years ago, and we're actually under the bridge because that was in the early times, like literally within the first weeks we were doing it, right?
Yeah.
And rain had fallen that day, so we couldn't really stay here, so we had to go. A matter of fact, it didn't just fall, I think the sky just opened up and they threw out several oceans on us that day. But anyhow, we were under the bridge and then we did that on what is the Tree of Life. And so now we feel that it's been such a time since then where more people have come around to the expression and the experience according to the faith. But at the same time, we want to explain of us, the people, the individuals, and of the Tree of Life experience. So, first of all, years ago when we came here, right? I said I was here, and first of all, I left a nice job, and I was transitioning to music, right? So I came to the college and I was like, well, I'm not going to manage a restaurant anymore. I'm going to follow my creative journey and be the artist, the singer, the actor, whatever that was in my heart that I knew I wanted to do, but other things were distracting. So when I came here, I sat over there, now we call Wisdom Tree. And there was this cable, like cog, that for those major cables that run telecommunications, the telecom cables. It was one of the major cogs that was like very high. That was left after they had run the cables. I was here when they were running the cables, I was passing through because of the Poetry Society. That's why I came here, because I found out in '98 that poets would meet here at the drama school. So this was really 2000 now when I was like in the college now and so. So when I came now, I sat over there on that cog where the thing was, and but must first be here and just start vibe, right? And when I was there, Norris, which was one of our oldest members, came up to me and said, "It's not really there, so you smoke, you really must smoke over here." So that means that there was already a tradition. So then I came up to this tree right here. There was no bar and none of these spells around the tree at the time. It was a nice seating arrangement. Sometimes I post a picture and there was a tree of death there, the tree of life and the tree of death in front of us, the Kashamaka tree, plus the lignum vitae. And so we had nice seating here and everything, right? And so tree of life began not as an origination right there. Because when I was there now, I met Clayton Lynch, God rest his soul in peace, and then more people would come along. But then because Norris already told us that, hey, be over here, we just thought that was just a caution to us because we were young smokers and they didn't want the cops to arrest us. But then when we started gathering, he started saying, yeah man, I saw people gather here so all the time, man, from Mikey Smith them days, Muta them and Blocker Ellis them and Bello Bell. And we literally came and met those people after, right? And of course, the boss himself, Uku Unura, Orlando Wang, right? Yeah, everybody know about the Barefoot Warrior before Muta, Orlando Wang, Uku Unura, original Tree of Life. So, Mikey Smith as well. So we began to hear those stories. A man say, yo, a wisdom tree, the man will continue, man, a wisdom tree and the ganja tree, because the society call it ganja tree, because to them it's synonymous with us smoking. To us being here it's synonymous, hallelujah, with wisdom, experiencing and expressing knowledge. So then now, I started listening to Norris now, me meet Silent, one of the oldest one, and then me literally now start meet the man that I talk about now. Blocker Ellis starts forward now. You understand me? Minister Bell forward, and 1 or 2 times we get to meet these personalities now, right? Billy Seaweed now, Earl Harris, you understand me? More and more people begin to come out of the woodwork forward out and show it. So Tree of Life has been established. Never they call it Tree of Life, the wisdom tree, but we just have forward it. So when me now, the day I get up and I look on the tree down there, so because we moved from here to down there, so because it was more secluded, right? And that, what we call clammy cherry tree, cover us over. And we always see it like a house. I realized that the rats, the scorpion, the spiders, us, the birds, the blackbirds, all fed on the tree. And no one was afraid of each other. It was a harmony. So one day I say, yo, this is a Tree of Life, right? And everybody just start getting into that, hey, that vibe of just saying, yo, this is a Tree of Life, because they could see it for themselves too, right? And so the wisdom tree just start advance and become Tree of Life. And so our generation with the elders now, because now the man them start forward, professors who used to be past students started guiding us. And I was going between here and UWI, but we started learning that this space was not a space of just smokers. was a space to go into your internal self and find you. So the first thing I recognized was I thought all Rastas were the same. When I found here now, and I met Sir Nabi Natural now, as a senior teacher who let me meet and spend time around Marty Moplano, who was Bob Marley's teacher and tutor, I got to spend time. So did all the early trail lifers around these stalwarts of what Rastafarian culture is about, right? And at the same time, Nabi Natural, also Sir Benjamin Wilson, right, and Sir Condal Simpson, God rest all their souls in peace. Our great teachers is right here, so I came to encounter them, right? With Nabi was the first one that taught me about 9-dimensionality of the human existence, right? The 9 portals to the human body and the male, and the 11 portals to the human body and the female, right? These things were like congregant to the highest mathematics, hey, which no one had spoken. Right here, so at Trail Life, I learned that. So Trail Life, real fraternity. And our fraternity is not a pattern of some postmodernist idea of us wanting to rebuild our identity. Our fraternity is a continuation way beyond the 22 pathways of the Sephiroths, right? Way beyond all these. That is what we call standardization of the living frequency. Because when I was here and the Spirit of the Most High God spoke to me one day and said, Jerome, I am, hallelujah, the tree of life. Because many people are saying we're worshiping the tree. The Most High God told me I am the tree of life. Yeah. So then I come to recognize tree of life, Brother Ramon, beyond the philosophy that people composite over time, right? Through the Sephiroths and all these energy centers, from Keta to Malhut. I am the representation of the sun of the cycle. Equilibrium, severity and mercy. I am. So Tree of Life was always explicable link with something far more inexplicable. And it's through faith we discovered it. Yeah, and we did in 2011, after seeing several generations from the year 2000 when I first came here. In 2011, when the item forward, we had seen several generations previously. When Lone Galloway came here in 2005, him said, him that wait in our life. See, awake to the level of himself, because he said he never seen no one that was free enough in mind while clear enough in conscience to overstand, understand, understand, and allow. Brother Singh, Brother Kush.
Yeah, I have to give thanks to the ITH, you know, and Ramon, you know. I've got through a different perspective of reality before I come to your life, you know. I've been going through some spiritual trip experience all along the way, you know. Too much along the energy, all the energy, you know. So when I entered the tree of life, they said I came here before, you know, John, Daniel, you know, so all of them pick up my energy, but they never really communicate with me until I start spending time with my tree by myself, then realize that Bob is a quiet youth. And you know, enough of them tell me I'm good youth and them things because them start really told and go through it and try and error what we go through in the systematic world, where I realize there's a blockage what I break off, you know, and I go through a lot of higher blockage when Hallelujah. I see myself in a different dimension. Yeah, when I see myself in a different dimension, church in my own self with different information, because I did a lot of information about humanity and other things, you know. So I was going through a lot of spiritual pain, you know what I mean? Not spiritual birth as yet until I enter trail life and rebirth, you know, and become a different personality where I elevate my own version of my own reality, where I already had the spirituality where I come here before, you know. It just the blockage was break away to remind me back. So when the first time I sit in trail life at the bench, you know, I feel a lot of energy, not the people around, the Rasta and the women come around and help me work on the music and the artists, you know. I would have a low ego because I don't have a higher ego, so my ego is very low, so I have to be humble. But the tree took out my energy like a woman. So I'm up behind me, I feel group by my girl, I'm up on my friend, and I tell you I'm that high and blatant. I feel like I can do everything because them time I don't even know if I roll out to play, you know what I mean?
True.
And the nervous system, them time I feel the kundalini that rise from my back. you know, something different inside of me, internal going on, you know what I mean? Internal changes, you know. So that's how I start to transform each day and come around the tree. Every day I come to school, I come straight to the tree before I come to class, you know what I mean? So I'm more emotional into nature and also herbalist, you know. So I'm more listening to the herb, you know. I was one of the latest person smoke herb 21. I don't smoke herb like young people early years back then, you know. So I was more mature conscious when I come to herb. But the first time I smoke herb, I trip out. You see me? And go to a different dimension of life.
Surely.
And go to a different thing in the universe apart from the biological surface, you know. So when I go back in the steps, there's too much things in my biological error that I have to correct to reach that state to stay upon the universal level so you can be blitzed out, you know what I mean? So the tree of life helped me to reconnect with my own consciousness and see what's going on inside of me and see what's going on around the world, you know what I mean? And I've been off the calendar and off the reality and going the inner reality and deal with things totally different, and I've been centralized myself around the tree.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people who don't around me, but a lot of spirit around me because my emotional attachment to the different dimension, and they feel like the species that I have inside of me is totally different what the species what I expect to the people, you know what I mean? So I have that more imaginative or invisible friend around me, like a teaching where what other human mind was not in that consciousness, you see me? So the more time I spend time with the tree alone, the more time I get more healing, and the more time I get more functional, and the more time I'm able to organize the reality and how to deal with the emotional of your own humanitarian, you know, and able to think differently, you know, creativity of humanity and liberty energy. So tree of life is a living cosmos energy reality. It's not a book on nerdy thing or money thing. It's all about mystic and transform your reality and make a living, you know. So when I come out to the tree of life and go out to the world, I've met so many people by energy, resonating, and you know, and totally different that they feel in spirit, you know, because of the tree that I linger with, you know, and the environment that I'm able to transform, you know. So there's an energy that they say I can do everything. There's no doubt, you know what I mean? So it's that I really have the wisdom, because the knowledge to recap yourself, you know, be more aware of your own awareness, you know what I mean? So, tree of life is a portal to enter your own inner gateway, to the own above to below, what's going on in your own dimension of your reality, you know? So you can able to see all things in all angles and all degrees, in all time zones, in your own reality, you see me? So, all the information is there for the tree of life, you know what I mean? So, and everywhere you go and connect to the other tree, it's just like tree of life. It's just the root that it breaks away the blockage, you know, and the trauma where you're going through that survival chakra process, you know what I mean? They're able to transform that evolution and not worrying about survival, you know what I mean? So, that is the greatest thing. And so many people come here to transform their life as tree of life, you know?
Absolutely.
Gunman, gay people, thief, enough of them transform and make a life better. You see me? And kill that bastard, what they put under the spell, you know? They're able to dispel themselves to create that new personality that really written into them soul where you're really born, you know? So you have to speak the truth, you know? So you have to just give thanks to the Mama Earth, you know? Because it rebirths your own personality and break away the karma where you go through, and the karma pass through your family generation, so that you can realize that there's love for the nature to give you back, so that you can do something to spread love, to heal others, you know, and send a new seed, because there's new seed to create new thought, new life, you know? Tree of life.
Brother Singh, your experience of the tree of life.
Yes, you know, I come Edna to study arts management, you know, so, and I was a herb smoker from before, you know, so naturally we wanted to know where's the herb spot.
Yes.
And everybody said tree of life. You know, the orientation, when them a walk around and them reach right up there. Them say over there is the tree of life where you can smoke your ganja. And I say, okay, you know.
Orientation.
The rest of students laugh, you know, because, you know, them not do it.
Yeah, they don't smoke.
But me like, oh yeah, thank you very much, you know. So, me come at your life now and meet you in the corner. You remember that story, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it very mystical, this brother, you know. I speak so differently, but, you know, and same time so educated. And I say, yo, John, that brother are different, you know. So you are the first true life member me meet.
Blessing.
You see me?
Blessing.
And then we start hang around and we start see Lynch and, you know, everybody else, and we just sit on and live good with each other.
Yeah.
You know? Help out each other. If somebody don't have no food, the next one say, yo, hold half of this, no man, you know?
Yes.
We help each other, man. We make,
Hallelujah.
we support each other. We care for each other. We listen to each other, you know?
Yeah.
If somebody have a problem, we try to help them with them problem, you know?
Absolutely.
We don't just brush them off and no business. We care, man, you see me? And that me rate about your life, you know?
Absolutely, brother.
And the knowledge and the wisdom what everybody personally have, you know? You talk to a man, you will learn so much. And you talk to a next man, total different wisdom and understanding.
Talk
but
to a woman, you learn something.
yeah,
So,
yeah, man.
And then you talk about the problem and they turn from morality. I have to look at that aspect of reality, you know. Because nothing can come back and change them reality, you know. Stop do certain things, and that's the best part of the reality to their own moment, you know.
True.
So, and that's if you are true life, it's a serious energy, because not something can work. Not everybody can walk through the bridge of true life. If your heart not strong and not clean, you can't come up there. Because it has been evident. You have some people come here and they can't stay too long.
Because that brotherhood there, you know, you have to, as birds of a feather, flock together.
Yeah.
And if your feather different, that means you just not go flock with it. You see me? Yeah, man.
You're not
because
reality,
I saw we meet a brethren in my community, you know, we're in Manchester, you know, many miles away from here.
Yes.
And the brethren said, you know, so I don't have nobody to talk to about them thing here. Like people are going to think I'm crazy.
Absolutely.
Just because him a talk spiritual and so different from the normal man who just a talk worldly things.
Stuff,
you see me? You see what happened on news last night and you hear what them say, this, yeah, them just regurgitate the media what them soaking the whole day. And me not interested in that, you know?
Yes.
And but that me realize that we know, we would dissect all of that misinformation and get truth out of it. You see me? And that me rate about your life, you see me?
No, we are autodidactic. We are not just didactic, right? We are autodidactic. So we're not just some programmed people. We educate ourselves by searching for the information. Because one of the things that I've recognized over the years with the different thinkers is that each personality circles around a kind of a examinations they've been having of life itself. So you would say everybody is a deep spiritual metaphysician in the nature of self, and so they were always so deep into what self had taught them, though it was different from what was the accepted ideas. But when they came to Chill Life, they didn't find yes men and yes women. They found other selves that was likewise aware, and they were like, whoa, and we'd clash sometime like, man, I ain't into that dimension, and I would go on and we say, okay, fine. So you say it is the universe, I say it's a cosmic brother. And he says, well, that's my cosmic brother, and I say, yeah, that's my universal brother. Are you gonna share that? Oh yeah, what do you want? You know, I say, well, a little bit of that. I say, no man, I take that alone, man, take some of this too, man. You're gonna like say, you're not hungry like me too, right? Yeah, so no matter what the differences of thoughts is, it never changed the outcomes of behavior, because sharing and keeping the place clean was responsibility that we found autodidactically from our own education. That if you're at Chill Life, Mr. Kush can tell you, when he first came here, I was the one on Lynch that would be doing the sweeping or lighting the fires, right? Until, so a man don't need authority to sweep or approval to light the fire. You have to be in the right state of mind. And for a long time, everyone knew I am the fireman. I'm the one that launched the authority for light the fire. Lynch deal with the food, right? And Was will also deal with the food as well too. So Was would be, you know, also sometimes gathering the firewood, or interchange with Lynch and the cooking, and sometimes interchange with me with the firewood, and me and Lynch would interchange and going to buy the stuff, right? So me and him would be the one who would go to buy the food, right? And then somebody would have to naturally slot themselves in to wash the utensils, right? And then to be able to wash up after, right? Somebody might be needing the flour, right? Somebody might be peeling the bananas. Because what's love to peel the banana, right? So the essence of it is that the delegation wasn't a systematic decision, it was emotional. So I remember one day Tristan was very angry with somebody who came here, and when we planted all the fruit trees and coconuts were available. And so I had said, okay, today we're gonna pick some coconuts, guys. It was Sunday after a Saturday night session up at Confitania, so we stayed over at the club after we had sung and played all night. And so we came down here now. And so I said, okay, we need some jellies. So I was sweeping up the place, right? And then I was going to go and pick jellies, right? But Tristan started sweeping as well too. And he's saying to me, why is he sweeping? And I'm like, well, he's new. He's like, no, he's not new. He's been amongst us for 3 years. That's not a trail lifer, hallelujah. That's not a trail lifer, that's disrespect. You are amongst us. And all this time, you haven't felt yourself a part of trail life enough to know no one is going to delegate to you what to do. We are cleaning. It's time to clean, right? And so Tristan even went to him and said to him, are you going to help us? And he said, no, you're not going to help. He's not going to help because he's going to pick the jelly, right? And he says, but that is a duty after. This is a duty now. And I never forget that because me and that person had several issues later on ran into, and Tristan never trust him again, right? And every time an issue would come, Tristan would say, remember I told you, where a person's allegiance lie. So what differentiates trail life is not just because you come here. Because many people used to come here in the first instance of trail life before they cut off the initiation point in the tree. There was a little bump in the tree. It's only original trail life know this. And you are not a member until you got a knock in the noggin at the center of the forehead or at the central chakra or the third eye. I remember one day there was a virgin who was on this side causing an argument. Oh, trail life ain't nothing because if you hear all these girls talking and nothing is nobody's nothing up here and all of this and all of you think you're just full of yourself and right? And then he started cursing the tree. I never forget Michael Graham was looking at him and said, trail life, I gotta take care of you, you know. Right? I remember him got up, you know. How you come? Right? Him cuss more. Michael said, that is one. You know Mike's can be already. Mike's over him sleep. That's one. He gets angrier and goes on a tirade again. Bang! Mike said, that's two. Not one can survive enough after that. Then he goes on again, another tirade. And this time I cuss me a time. You guys are nothing. Bang! 3 times nearly knock out this time. And he left and he never came back. So it's not everybody that come at trail life is trail life. Because some are Nancy's, they are mischief makers trying to seek power. Because where they see organized movement, they think the organization comes through intellect or a man's will and not the will of God. That is where they are mistaken. They think, oh, it's just someone that smokes some ganja. Ganja tree.
Alright, because let me tell you something. Because when them bully me at trail life and this and this and this, what they see in their eye cannot see what's in my eye. You know what I see in eye me there on tree? I be a duppy in the other side that you don't want to mess with, and I be an angel in the spirit. And then anytime them cut, them don't want to see me tomorrow. Come, me attend the duppy. I never attend the duppy, and them a duppy themselves, you know. Jamaica the duppy themselves, greater duppy are come, you know. And then all Jamaican people talk, you know.
True.
So when people go on bad, don't use no gun on them. That the ancestor deal with it. That's how the old time Jamaica do it. Let the ancestor duppy deal with it. And you just live life in harmony, you know. And you know the funny thing, if you can hear the tree talk, the tree inside of you. You know? That's who you know you're part of the tree. And you know the tree always loves you.
Over a vocal system based upon our breath is what you call the bronchioles of the lungs, right? So even though our vocal cords come from the vocal box, the epiglottis, the vocal cords, which is a string resonance, right? But the very essence of what brings the pneuma, the air, because the vocalization of music and of life is air, is breathing, right? And so trees give off the oxygen that we so need, and we give off the carbon that trees so need in their carbonation and give us the oxygen that we need in our melanation. So I've often found that sitting under a tree from ancient time was one of the best places, the first place of the temple, the first place of the commune, the first place where the community started was under a tree, because that's where we gather for posterity. The trees feed us, the trees clothe us, the trees shelter us. And God embodied to us, explicable through the nature of the tree of life, ain't nothing new. So God has spoken to us through the openness of our spirit to do justice, to seek truth, to commune in knowing, to commune in understanding. And when it is discordant, we sort it through to concordance. We go past the didactic, pedantic nature to be very explicable and denoted in knowledge. And we share our beliefs too. So Tree of Life is a home fraternity of real souls. Hey, this is the true brotherhood, the church of the living God to us. This is our temple, our cathedral, our synagogue, our point of divine commune, right? Philosophical, subjective, actual, real, living cosmos, God expressing through us. This is where we found ourselves harmonized. Edna Manley College. So when you think of that journey, if you're looking at the outside things, that's what we call representational things. People think that's where it's not in that. It's just, you can see we're literally under a tree.
Well, you have to spend time a lot under
Go
the tree.
inside and see how we sat here with the clearness of mind and the communication with God got better. So until next time, this has been the Great Out Reasonings right here at the Tree of Life, just explaining the essence of the Tree of Life and the communion that is shared here at the Tree of Life in the spirit of Yahshua Mashiach, in the spirit of truth and love, in the presence of my blessing security, in the presence of my co-host, Brother Ramon Singh, and the Mystic Kush. Tree of Life,
Perfect love.
Perfect love, perfect life. Blessings.